Okay, guys, I think, yeah, I want to address the crazy in the room right now. Trump comes out and says Tylenol or acetaminophen causes autism when taken during pregnancy. There's a lot to unpack. Let's get into it. Okay, what on earth is going on, right? So I'm autistic. I'm an autistic ADHD, man, born in 1986. My mom, she fell when she was pregnant with me. And I think that was the only trauma that was caused during the time that she was pregnant with me, to me, whilst I was in utero. Now, look, there are some things that we do know scientifically, and I'll go through those right now. So scientifically, the raw data shows that there are certain genes that are involved in autistic individuals that are present for autism. They call them autism genes. And those genes actually turn up as markers when autistic individuals have genome screenings, right? They say, oh, these people have these genes. It's kind of like they call it the autism gene because it's typically aligned with that. I don't know the exact names of these genes, but just type in the autism genes, you'll see them. But this isn't a cause of autism. This is just a byproduct scientifically that we know that autistic individuals have these genes. Okay. Causes of autism, we don't have any. We don't know any. No known causes. However, we do know a few different things. So one is that when oxygen is starved to the baby, either during birth, during the birthing canal, or in utero, what happens is the oxygen starvation actually causes slight swelling of the cerebral cortex in the brain a little bit. And where this has been recorded, autism has also been present in the infant once, they can assess them. So we know this. And there was a smaller study done a few years back where they looked at women who had taken the Tylenol drug or the acetaminophen, and when they were pregnant, those children had swelling in utero of the cerebral cortex, and this is why the mothers took the Tylenol. Not the Tylenol didn't cause the swelling of it, and then those children were recorded to have an autism, right? Because again of this swelling. Now, when Trump stands up with RFK, and there's a lot to this, but we'll get through it. This is an unedited raw video from me, just my thoughts, because everyone's going crazy online about it, and rightfully so. I think there's a lot to talk about. They stood up on stage in the White House, a super nation, the Americans, like they lead the world in many ways, and they come up and they say Tylenol during pregnancy is the smoking gun we've been looking for. It's causing many autism kind of diagnoses, which is crazy to think about, because you got to think about the people who have taken acetaminophen during pregnancy, and those babies are not autistic, right? So how do they come to this? So I was expecting them to say, here's the scientific data, here's the evidence, here you go. But unfortunately, we never got that. We just got Trump saying, hey, Tylenol's bad, don't take it. All these kind of rhetorics, and I know that they've kind of got a war on for like the gunning for the big pharma right now. And I do agree that sometimes big pharma can be, too big and there for profit, not to help people, right? And that can happen, but it happens in everything, right? So that is kind of crazy. And the claim that just a blanket statement that Tylenol causes autism, I mean, there's no, you just can't, right? It's just not going to happen. So if we look at the bigger picture though, what we can't lose sight of is RFK wanting to, that there's kind of like two objectives, right? They want to find a link or a cause. Like, why is there an increasing risk? Why is there an increasing diagnosis of autism than ever before? Why are we increasing? And there are a few different answers to this, right? That we already kind of know. The the assessment criteria is becoming more refined. We're having better tools, better practices, there's more feedback. We have community feedback now. And so we're more refined, so we can actually spot it easily than we used to. Now, I mean, I understand he wants to find an answer to why there's an increasing rate, and that's what he's been paid to do. I get it. Okay. I don't think he's going to find that answer other than outside of the fact that we already know it's because we're getting better tools, right, and better clinicians. But if we look on the bigger picture, he's also trying to help people, because this is some of the rhetoric that Trump was using. He was saying things like, it destroys families, it's awful, it's a disease, and autism. And Trump is using very basic language. And this is one of the interesting things about Donald Trump. He uses a type of communicative language which is relevant to his audience. If you're speaking to the general public, the average reading age of somebody is like a 3rd or 4th grader. So, this is why, like, I remember vividly when the Princess Diana of Wales it was in a car accident, and she was a fatal accident. It was like Dodie dead, Diana injured. There was no context to it. It wasn't like Princess Diana's been in a car crash with her boyfriend Dodie fired. There's some serious complications going on. No, there was nothing like that. It was Dodie dead, Diana injured. Like, basic, very simple English. And Trump uses those terms. So he uses terms like disease, because it sparks attention. People are like, okay, I understand the word disease, and so the general population we have to try and communicate, but then also sparks a debate. People say, hey, why is he trying to cure autism? Why is he saying it's dangerous and destroys families and things like that? And I think where that comes from is the second objective of helping families or helping people who have severe autistic issues, right? And what I mean by this, and I did a small TikTok on this earlier, so you can check it out on TikTok. And by the way, guys, if you want to follow along with the rest of the stuff, that I do here on YouTube and the other platforms, you can just hit the subscribe button and I would be most obliged. You're amazing. Thank you for being here on this journey. Now, in terms of helping people with autism, I have a level 2. I have an autism ASD level 2, which means that I have a lower support needs than maybe my friends who are level 3 who have no verbal speech. They are more in their own world, so to speak, and they may wear diapers and need 24/7 supervision, right? That's a serious condition. And it is autism, because autism is a spectrum, right? How condensed is autism, on the spectrum, like a lighter end to the more condensed end. And that is how they come up with the leveling systems. And they used to have high functioning, low functioning, Asperger's, classic autism, infantile autism, Kenner, infantile autism. And those people who have profound difficulties caused by autism, you can understand that if somebody said, hey, I can help you live more of a typical life and get you out of diapers, in your 20s and help you, with speech. Well, of course, that's a good thing. Like, nobody wants to be in diapers in their 20s, right? And so those people locked inside those bodies want help. And I get it. So RFK, yeah, I get he's trying to help people so that they can increase that potential towards life. But there's no curing of autism. It's just helping increase that potential. And so when we look at stuff like Trump's rhetoric, I don't think he means it in a way where he hates autistic individuals. I think he's using just very simple language, but it is, on a public stage, and we're going to react to it. But it was besides the point. I just wanted to say about the rhetoric so that we could understand where they're coming from and why that aligns with what RFK is doing. And so, although I think it's a good thing to help autistic individuals, putting crazy statements out about Tylenol or acetaminophen that are not based on anything, because you can't just come out with a crazy statement and not give us some scientific evidence. So I want to know, how do you guys feel about it? I don't know. Like, I understand what they're saying and all the words. None of it makes sense. It's kind of crazy. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Peace.